Welcome back to the Yogi Triathlete Podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm BJ.
And we are coaches, athletes, and the founders of Yogi Triathlete. It's been a minute since we sat down in front of these microphones and shared an episode with you guys. Although I hope you went and listened to Aurora's podcast that was launched not too long ago after her experience at Escape from Alcatraz. Like, her energy and her attitude towards things that scare her are just amazing. And she actually seeks them out. So we love that. Go and have a listen of that if you haven't already. But yeah, it's been a minute since we've sat down, BJ and I, like literally in front of the microphones, but even with each other. Because on July 10th, I flew out of San Diego to Iceland to lead an 8-day yoga adventure. 5 days later, BJ left for an Ironman adventure, back-to-back races, teaching yoga at Ironman 70.3 Maine, spending time with family. And then honestly, guys, we're not the perfect couple. If you know us, then you know that, because he came home and we went right into our routine. So when I tell you that this is the first time that we have sat down to really talk about our trips and our own adventures, I'm being fully honest. So I'm really looking forward to what unfolds in this episode today. We're going to smack it down. We're going to share stories that we feel matter, reflections, lessons learned, all of those things. And, you know, the revelations of things that we realized more about ourselves, because I think that those last couple of weeks of us doing those things are very much us being on purpose in this life. And if there's one thing about living your dharma, is that you really get to see yourself in stadium lighting. So I'm excited to hear and see what unfolds over this next hour. We have a friend. Her name is Andi. She is our friend Christy's daughter. And yeah, she's here for the show. So welcome to the show.
First time
guest. And we'll see how her manners are.
Long time listener.
Yeah, definitely long time listener. She's a good girl.
Yeah.
You're a good girl. And of course, Clark. All right, Beach, I'm going to have you kick it off.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Do we want to start? Yeah, I guess we just start with Iceland.
Kick it off.
You know, like,
what you got for me?
well,
we'll go back and forth, right?
Okay.
Because we have like two, they're both adventures, but very different.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, taking away what made Iceland, like what made it so like incredible, because I hear you use that word a lot, even before you went on the trip and then afterwards. So yeah, what was it about Iceland? Because a lot of people, I mean, I know you asked the question, but like it was just random people would have Iceland. Like the guy at Ironman had an Iceland hat on from Reykjavik. Like, and it was just like random passings. Liv from Cuisine Solutions, her friend was in Iceland when you were there, and like all this energy started to pick up around Iceland. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, and my friend from high school,
oh right, yeah,
who I haven't seen since we graduated, like maybe our first reunion, I ended up meeting up with him in Reykjavik, and somebody else was there on their honeymoon. A client of mine, I think, was there at the same time I was there. So anyway, what makes Iceland Iceland? What makes it incredible? What makes it epic? You know, Iceland's one of those places where you already know you want to go. It's a bucket list place to go, but like nobody really knows why they want to go, right? And then you go and you experience Iceland. We had Iceland weather. When I booked this trip, I said to Janet, the travel yogi, give me the warmest, brightest time of year to go. And she said July. And I was like, done. Let's book it. And we got unseasonable Iceland summer weather. So we had rain. We had a lot of wind, which they do say it rains a lot in the summer in Iceland. We got crazy wind. I mean, we really got like this Icelandic weather. Now, I'm saying, oh, it was windy and it was rainy. And you think like, yeah, we get that here. But there's something about the energy of the weather there. It's like its own entity. And our guide, Inga, was amazing. That's one thing about these travel yogi adventures, is that the guides are like, oh my God, you just like, you spend the last couple of days of the trip wondering how you're going to live without them, because you are all together, moving together as an organism. And Inga just became a part of the crew. And so we would pray to the weather god Thor, right? Like there's so much lore about Iceland, so much folklore, the stories, elves and giants and trolls and ghosts. And I felt like every story at some point was like, and she fell off the cliff and was never seen again. Like these stories. And they went to find their friend on the island and they couldn't, and they left him there, you know, and then he got like brought in with the elves and he lived with the elves for a year, or like this giant wanted to marry a troll. And so just the lore of Iceland, the weather, the island itself is incredibly volatile. Like it is so alive. The whole thing is like a lava field, but it's so lush. And you have these big like mounds on top of this lava field that is just like green and lush, and you have grasses and everything like in between all the lava rocks and growing out of the lava. And these big like mounds are all there because of like bird poop. And it's like gorgeous. It makes like this gorgeous landscape. Waterfalls. Insane, huge waterfalls everywhere you look. The water, you could drink it from the toilet. It is so delicious, like to have this water. And then the locals, like we had, and if anybody who was on the trip listens to this episode, they are going to be like peeing their pants, because we had one night with Trolti. I think her name was Trolti. And she was Icelandic. I mean, this woman has seen some weather in her life. Like, Icelanders are a little gruff. They are ridiculously funny, and they are so loving. And we had this real, just epic experience with this woman who picked us up. It's actually a pretty funny story. Picked us up to go to these canyon baths. We were going to have the whole place to ourselves. These insane, like geothermal pools in this volcanic canyon that wasn't too far from our hotel. And I really wanted to wear my robe. I just wanted to wear my bathing suit and my robe. And it's Iceland, and it's cold out, and it's windy, and it's raining. And she comes in dressed like she just came off the glacier. And I'm in my robe and flip-flops. And she just looks at me and says, "You're wearing that?" or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm wearing this." You know, I started to get a little stubborn. She goes, you're going to freeze to the bone." And she just like stared at me with this crazy stare. And I'm staring back at her. And I'm like, oh my God, she's not going to look away. I was in this like eye lock stare contest with this Icelander woman. And I was like, I'm going to have to relent. Like, there's no way this lady's backing down. I wore the robe. But what did I do? I think I went and put sweatpants on for her, and then I took the sweatpants off. I felt like a rebellious teenager. But that's what makes Iceland epic. The weather, the people, the landscape. Yeah, we saw the puffins, and we went on a puffin tour one day, and when we had a free afternoon. It's a place. I mean, I would say this about the Guatemala trip I have coming up. Like, except for Guatemala's not, it doesn't seem to be like a bucket list place, but it's a place that you just have to go and experience, because there's nothing like it. And then when the weather broke and the sun came out, we were all like, I'm so glad it was like rainy and the ceiling was really low, because we just felt like we had such an Icelandic experience. Like, I've got videos of us. We stopped the first day going into the wilderness, the Humsvik baths on the way to the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. And we had to get a rope from, you know, of course the restaurant has a rope for whatever reason. And we had to we had a Mercedes Sprinter van, like, that we drove around in. And we had to tie the door of the bus shut. Like, Inga we had to retie it. She had to get out. She had to go around. We had to push the buttons. She could get back in. And the whole time, because this wind, like, it's insane what they drive. Nobody would drive in this kind of weather, in this kind of wind here in the States. And it's just normal to them. So yeah. Did I answer the question?
What did everybody else think? What did the people, the
group?
Yeah, the group, the yogis.
I would feel very confident being safe to say that I speak for the group when I just riffed all that off. I mean, that's all we talked about, was how amazing this place was. And then, yeah, when it just lifted, we were like, holy crap, this place is amazing. And Inga shared with us, you know, the clouds were low and we didn't have a lot of visibility. And so you can't see the glacier, you can't see all the waterfalls. And she shared this story with us about how she was dating this guy. And like, I don't know, there was like a day like that. And she was like, oh, I wish it was sunny. And he said, yeah, but if it was sunny, like, I like it when it's like this, because I'm really focused on what's in front of me. And I think we all kind of really absorbed that. And we saw details about the island and the landscape and the life and the time together in a way that we may have overlooked if we always had these epic views. And then when we had the epic views, we were like, whoa. And we realized that we absolutely would have overlooked what was right in front of us. So I'm sure there's a deeper message in there, of course. But yeah, I would say I speak for the group when I describe that.
And the views were, I mean, obviously the greenness of it, but the waterfalls were pretty incredible.
The waterfalls. Yeah. The waterfalls were so beautiful. And we weren't even on the part of the island where like the huge waterfalls are, but you could see huge waterfalls off in the distance. And because it was raining, the waterfalls were just, there was probably more waterfalls than there normally are, right? Because there was so much rain. But I can't even describe the green. It was like everything had a filter on it. It was so vibrant green. And then against the like black of the lava. And as we were driving, and I love the roads, very much like the roads in Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where it's just like this road, it's like black, and then it's just green all around. Like we were in the middle of nowhere. This hotel that we stayed at was in the middle of nowhere, right on the ocean. It was so gorgeous. And I just kept thinking like there's not a lot of difference in the landscape here between like the lava fields and the lava fields on the Queen K and Kona, like on the Big Island. It's just the weather and the climate is so different that these are incredibly lush. You think they're fields, but they're lava fields. Yeah.
But you did do something in the waterfalls too, which wouldn't be.
You're gonna have me talk about how I blew my voice out again.
Which I'm so glad that you can talk on the podcast.
I know, but you can still hear it. Like I talked to my sister today, and
so
she's
what did
like,
you do?
I can still hear.
What did you do?
I primal screamed again too many times. I blew my voice out. I can't do this anymore. It's not, I got to teach, like people deserve to have my voice. So we were on these basalt cliffs in the town where in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, if you haven't seen that movie, you have to see that movie. It's such a good movie. And we're in the town where he goes into the bar and he finds the pilot. And we're in that town. We had lunch there. In this restaurant, when they opened the restaurant, it was just us in the restaurant. They opened the restaurant for us. The food was so good, and they have the best sourdough bread. Everything comes with sourdough bread and coffee. I felt like a 75-year-old man. Every lunch, I'm having like a cup of coffee because the coffee was amazing. It started on the plane on Iceland Air. The coffee was so good in the hotel, every restaurant. But we're on these basalt cliffs. It was so gorgeous. The sky had lifted, and we had this view of 1,000 islands. All these islands off the coast. So gorgeous. And Inga was like, we need to scream. And if anybody says that, I'm like, yes, because primal screaming has been was a very big technique for me and like just getting stuff out. And I've used it with my clients over the years. And so in that moment, I was like, I'm not going to scream. Like, I'm going to guide them through it. But then they screamed and I was like, you guys, you got to scream it out. Like, you cut it short. Like, you were holding back. And they were like, do it with us, guide us. So we did one together. And then that was good. Did I just do 2? I think I just did 2. Or did I do 3?
I think you said you did 3.
Oh.
And then, because then you said, maybe
much.
next time I do 2. And I was like, well, maybe next time you don't do any.
Or just do 1. And then we were behind the waterfall, and I was with 2 other of our guests, and I was like, do you guys want to scream? And they were like, yes. And then we screamed, and then I could feel it. I could just feel a little bit of soreness. So I actually looked it up online. Like, it's a strain of your vocal cords. And so then it was hot water, lemon.
You know the drill.
Not talking. Yeah, like not talking. I know the drill. And it worked out perfect, actually, because I blew it out. And then we went back to Reykjavik and we had a free day. And then everybody went out to dinner. And I actually stayed in the hotel and went to the spa, went to the steam rooms. There were steam rooms like at all the places. Went to the steam room and that was all good. But yeah, DM me about the primal screaming. It's very therapeutic. But however, I will say that I didn't get what I used to get out of it. This was the first time that I was like, wow, I'm feeling like I'm pretty clear.
Maybe let all that stuff go.
Yeah. I
or
think
majority
I
of
only
it.
did 2 screams. I feel like I only did 2 screams. And so maybe that was my penance was like, stop doing this. You don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to lead it anytime. Guide you through it. Do a little video. Yeah. All right. So should we throw it back to you for a question?
Sure.
Okay. Gosh, it's fun to talk about this. I haven't even talked about the trip. Okay. So I think I'd like to start with every great plan starts with the inspirational text. You had already signed up for Lake Placid, but then
Yep.
you were somewhere. I think you were at the pool or doing something, and you sent me a text.
I was on a run.
That's a great time to make plans.
I was on a run.
Great time to make
Yep.
plans. And you sent me a text.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that. Let's start with that. Because we are going to do Ironman Lake Placid. You were already set to teach yoga with Cuisine Solutions, sponsor of Ironman. We've been partnering with them in teaching yoga, and it is incredible. So we'll tell more about that.
Yeah. It's fun.
So tell me about your great idea.
So my idea was I was going to be in Maine anyway, and I would already have my bike with me because I was like, in all the itinerary and the planning, it was like, maybe I can get a car, drop it off here, have my family pick me up, and then maybe rent another car. And then like, how would I get the bike? It was just like,
I love watching, like you're definitely growing in your travel plans.
yeah,
Like I love watching you trying to piece together
yeah.
as many rides as you can get.
Then it was just like, just get a car for the entire
Rent
trip,
the car.
which I did. And that worked out great.
Yeah.
But I was figuring I'm going to have my bike there with me. I'm going to be at the race site. I'm going to be staying there. I'm going to have fitness from Ironman Lake Placid. Why don't I just race the next day and give it a go? And I think we talked about this a little bit, but it's not out of my wheelhouse to do something like that. And I don't see that as like a big, like shocking thing for me in my BJ's filter. It just seems like, oh yeah, that's going to be challenging. Let's see how the body will show up for a half Ironman after an Ironman. And I think ideally it would be better to do a half Ironman first and then a full Ironman, in my opinion. But in this instance, it was just, this is the way that it was. And it allowed me to test things out, which I definitely did learn a lot from one race and applied it to the next. So yeah, I think just that epiphany of like, I'm going to have my bike with me. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to have everything and I'm going to be up there. Why not just race? Yeah.
But you're leaving something out
What's that?
of the plan. What your goals were.
So my goal was to qualify for Kona and Placid, do the double qualification. So
Of course.
qualify at Kona, qualify
Love it.
for Kona at Lake Placid. Why not? And then 6 days later, get the Chattanooga qualification for 70.3 Worlds in Maine. Why not? None of that happened. 0 qualifications, 0 for 2.
Well, and I love that. I mean, I
do
don't
too.
love it. I wish we were going to Hawaii, but what did you, like in your mind, having qualified many times for 70.3 World Championships, qualified 2 times now for the Kona World Championship, what did it teach you by getting no qualifications? Like what was your expectation and what did you learn from it?
So to backtrack just one more step, like I wanted to win my age group in Lake Placid, right? And so then the negotiations started throughout the race of like, I just need to finish, top 3 or top 5 because I've done that before and that got me a slot. So what did that show me? Not getting a qualification? It shows me that I really want to go. Like I really want to be there in Kona. And then the second tier is like, I want to be there in Chattanooga. And it shows me how this whole experience, the whole 2 weeks, like showed me how much I enjoy this. Like I really do enjoy the training. I love the racing. I love the preparation. I love the nervousness that I still get and the anticipation and the managing of the moments relentlessly to like pull myself into what I can do right now. And it just reinforces this is what I love doing. Like I love doing this. I'm not ready to jump to trail running or endurance swimming or whatever else is out there. Right now, this just really, really fills me up. I enjoyed all the elements of it. And especially being in Lake Placid, which is, as you know, one of my favorite courses. And then to stack it one more level, to teach yoga at these races and connect with the athletes before, breathe and move with them during, and then connect with them afterwards is, for me, I'm not going to speak for you, but that was probably the highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
Standing in front of, and normally you love that, like put yourself in there. And I love it too. I haven't always loved it. It's been uncomfortable for me in the past. I love it now. Like I love being up on the stage, talking to people, showing them, breathing, watching them, having those little moments when you just laugh and it's like, other side, like your other right. most often, and just connecting. And that was brought to us through Cuisine Solutions, which have been so incredible this year, working together with them, and maybe more in the future. And I love how we can sandwich this between what we did at Oceanside and now what we did at Eagle Man and now Maine and what we'll do in Santa Cruz and Tri-Cities. Yeah, it's really, really an incredible, fulfilling experience. So that actually trumps, teaching yoga actually trumps the races that I did. And I love that. I love that you can have it all.
I think it really speaks to just our inherent tendency to want to serve, our meaning, us, but like mankind, humankind, that I think that we're here to care for each other, and like when you can be in service like that, it's just, oh man, it's such a drug. It's so amazing to be able to teach people the things that have allowed you, me, our team, and anybody who comes to yoga classes, these things that are really like transformative in your life. And your life can be like amazing. You can have an amazing family, relationship, job, everything. And this stuff can like elevate it. And it's just because getting space between stimulus and response in life, that space can't be big enough.
Right.
So it's so incredible.
One last thing on that.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about teaching, right? We live it to teach it.
Mm-hmm.
Is like I walked away there with no qualifications, but I use it as a platform to teach, because what is your attachment to the here and now as to how things need to progress and be executed so that you get that outcome? And I keep focusing on just knowing too much now of the ebbs and flows of life and the contrast that's necessary, and that what my experience, and I agree, like it would have been awesome to go to Kona, would have been awesome to already have my Chattanooga. That didn't happen. But I know something really, really good is going to happen. I should say good, but something incredible is going to happen because these didn't go as planned. So I understand there's a bigger thing at work here. And then you can feel the tendencies of the human mind where it's like, well, when is that? When is that? Is it going to be in the next race? Oh, you better sign up for the next race because that's when it's going to happen in 6. No, it's not. That's where you maybe, but that's where we get caught up again, is we try to control the timeline. Instead, enjoy and soak up everything that happened in those 2 weeks and then apply it to the next race and then see what happens and then apply it to the next one and the next one, and go on this journey, go on this path to freedom from the mind is really what it is. Like I said, I love all of what I experienced, and I'm getting less and less attached to the intricacies of it on the other side of these finish lines. They're really just launching pads to what's next.
I know. It's so true. Yeah.
So same thing with the retreats, because what you are experiencing, like Iceland and Galapagos, and you're going to go to Guatemala and Bhutan, and like you can't say like and cling to like this is the one time, this is it. It's like be there for that group and then move on and take what you can into the next group of travelers.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, never say never, right? I mean, if that was true, then I wouldn't have ever done a triathlon.
Because you did say that.
I did say that.
After I finished my first triathlon, you said you're not going to do it ever.
I said I would never, ever do a triathlon ever.
That was 2004.
I was not interested. And then I wanted to be the best massage therapist. I wanted to take all the athletes in Boulder for me. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do a triathlon because I want to know what they're going through.
Yeah.
I want to have that experience.
It was smart.
It was smart. Yeah. But then I got hooked. So here we are, 22, 21. I don't even know. I can't even count anymore.
22 years later.
2 years later. Yep. 22 years later, here we are, and feeling good. And I think a lot of that is yoga, it's mindset, and swimming.
Swimming is it.
Swimming is so big. It's so big. Let's talk a little bit about, well, what did you learn? Like, what's overall, I love that, like, what you took away from not qualifying was your answer. It just shows your mindset. Like, your answer was that you love the sport and you want it. And you're okay with how long it takes. But let's talk about Lake Placid specifically, because that didn't go as planned as far as, but you risked it for the biscuit. Sounds like on the bike. I'd like to hear more about that. Yeah, I think we'd all like to hear more about that. And what the biggest lesson was that you learned, because you've been doing this for, like we said, 20 plus years. And the thing I love about Ironman, you can't get lazy. Like, you cannot get
No,
lazy. I think you can fake a half Ironman. You cannot fake an Ironman.
no, you cannot. No.
So, not that a half Ironman, I mean, that is not easy either. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, "Oh, you're training for it?" I'm like, "Yeah, Santa Cruz." She's like, "Oh, cool." And I was like, "Hold on a second. Let's just pause for a second. It takes a lot, like, but I think our families are so just like,
Used to
whatever,
what we're doing.
Ironman, half
Right.
Ironman, ultramarathon, like whatever. It gets so normalized. And it's important for all of us to pull back and realize that it's still a very small percentage of people that will ever do this. And it does require a lot. I'm feeling it now, like what it requires to really do my best in Santa Cruz. And it's a lot of discipline and a lot of devotion, and I love it.
And
it's temporary,
getting
so
up,
go
getting
all
up when
in.
you don't want to get up, and doing the workout when you don't want to do the workout, and like it takes all of that.
Yeah, it takes all of
all
that.
those moments.
It takes all of that. So, all right, I want to hear a little bit more about how you risked it on the bike, any standout moments from the swim, and yeah, what was your biggest takeaway, and how did that pushing it on the bike affect your run?
Yeah, I think the lead up to this race was really good. I don't think there was anything that didn't go well in this lead up. I was feeling really strong. Still, working through my shoulder stuff. So that has turned a big corner. So yeah, I was ready for the race, ready to race it. Like, win your age group means you need to risk it. So the swim was awesome. Love that swim. I'm literally within 1 to 2 minutes every time on that swim, 105 to 107 all the time. I love it. I felt really strong. I found a good pathway all the way around. First thing I do when I get there in Lake Placid is get in the lake. And then every day before the race, I'm in the lake connecting with it. Out of the water, onto the bike. And of course, it had rained 2 days before and really, really wet. And then race day was supposed to be overcast and a little bit cooler. It turned out that the sun disappeared. The clouds disappeared. And as I was descending Keene on the first loop of the bike, which is about, 8 or 10 miles into the race, the sun was like, like here it was.
So beautiful.
So beautiful when it breaks through after the rain too. And so I decided to push. I didn't decide. I knew I was going to push the bike.
I'm going to pause for a second because I want everyone to feel the experience of, what does it feel like on that descent into Keene, like with the mountains around you? Like, what's the view? Bring me into the view.
It's that first stretch where you're descending and you can see the mountains in the distance. It's actually before the descent. It's right by the river where it's undulating but nice and flat and fast, and that's where you can kind of see the mountains in the background. When you're descending Keene for 6 miles, it's beautiful and gorgeous. You really can't see the mountains, but you're just lined by greenery, and the road conditions are really smooth, and you're flying at 35 to 45 miles an hour, and you're descending into this pocket of, I don't know, I always feel like it's cooler down there in Keene. Like, I feel like the air temperature changes as you descend down there. And it's like a badge of honor on this course to like descend down it. And then once you've finished the descent, then it's like go time, because you take a left in Keene and you have this nice like 5 or 6 mile stretch of aero position riding, which a little bit of undulations, but it's just like, it's awesome. It's just such a cool stretch. Anyway, the descent though, I would say the first mile, I had a little bit of fear. 2 things. One, the wind was really strong this day. They said it was probably the strongest wind they've had ever at Lake Placid. Like, all the years they say they're going to have it, it never really comes. And then they said they collected it all and just delivered it out on this day. So the descent was a little wonky, and it's good to descend and see the rider in front of you and see when they have that little herky jerky movement from the side gusts, and you can adjust appropriately by getting up on your hoods and relaxing your shoulders a bit. So I had a little bit of like, okay, I'm not going to descend as fast as I wanted to. I'm feeling a little bit of swirliness. And then after that mile, the sun came out and something shifted. Maybe it was the light. I've been feeding the light a lot, like go to the light, feed the light. And I just became, I guess, more confident in that descent and then ripped it down. But all day I was battling the wind. I was battling some lower back pain, and immediately the mind goes to like, I didn't do enough aero work outside.
Yeah,
Done that before.
It's a great time to
And I'm
learn.
like, this is not helpful. Like, bring it back. I fuel every 10 minutes. So to come back to now is every 10 minutes. Like, fuel right here. Like, do 9 minutes of work and then fuel. 9 minutes of work, fuel. And so you do that 6 hours. That's like what, 60 times? 6 times 6, no, 36 times. Over and over again. So yeah, I pushed it on the bike. I had a mechanical twice with my rear hub, which I knew about. It's details, guys. Details. Probably cost me a slot, I would say. Probably cost me the slot. 5 to 10 minutes trying to fix that up. And then took it home. And that did impact my run. Although my first part of the run...
I didn't know it took you that long to...
Took me at least 5 or 6 minutes.
We've talked. He's hinted to the fact that there was a mechanical. Now, you knew about it. What would you have done something different prior to going into the race?
Yeah, just replace the components of it. Yeah. But I had evidence that it was fine most times because I kept riding outside and it was fine. Every now and then it would act up. So yeah, just details. I know this, right? It doesn't help when you know it and don't act upon it, right? Awareness. So yeah, you constantly learn.
Yep.
You learn.
Learning. Always learning.
And then the first part of my run, I did run a 1:45 to start. So I was right on pace for a 3:30. Right on pace.
You were. I was watching it.
Yeah. And then I actually had to hold myself back the first few miles. I tried something different with nutrition, didn't take in enough sodium, I don't believe, and I'm a heavy sweater. I don't have an actual reason why that was the case, but again, look at the hair fly. Okay, settle down right here. Good boy. Down.
It's on the
Good
moon.
boy. So learned a lot on the run, and then it was a battle of stay with it because, I wanted to quit, wanted to walk, and I just kept moving forward, kept picking myself up. I had Claire out there. She was so good. She was like in my face. She's like, you're in 7th place. 5th place is up there. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, she was my person on the ground, which was awesome.
It's so interesting to watch the tracker, though. Like, I was texting with her husband, Colin. I was just like, he's running faster than like 5 guys in front of him. But like because of the swim starts and everything, like
you just don't know.
You just don't know. But Claire was on the ground. She's one of your longtime athletes.
She raced too.
Yeah, and Bridget from Endurance Squad killed it.
Yeah, it was so good to see her.
9th in her age group in Lake Placid. She was in Costa Rica with us this April. It's just, yeah, love her. Love her. Congratulations, Bridget. Congratulations, Claire. She got a killer PR on the swim and did a loop of the bike, and it was kind of planned that anything was a massive win.
Getting
for
to
her
that start line, as you guys know, that can be the win.
Yeah.
That can be the win.
Really
all right.
Amazing.
So that's Placid.
Okay, so biggest lesson.
Stick with the fueling plan that works, I would say. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty simple.
So I'll give you my side of what was happening because you were texting me and I was in the airport in Seattle. I was in the club with Trisha, who was on the trip. We had a Trisha heavy trip. We had 3 Trishas on the trip. So Trisha from Vegas, and I was in there, and you were texting me, and you were asking, and I was like, "This is interesting." And you were like, "Should I do this?" And then I was like, and in my mind, I was like, "He wants me to give him he wants me to." It felt to me that you wanted me to give you the answer. Do this, do that, and my answer would have been like, "What? Why are you thinking about this now?" So I was kind of asking questions back to you to just let you figure out what you were gonna do, and. Yeah, we were like watching it come in and Trisha, and she's like, I'm a Capricorn too. So like he's doing something risky here. He's doing something new and he needs you to tell him that it's okay. Like it's in the rules. I'm like, I don't think it is okay though. I really think he just needs to do what he knows works. But it sounded to me like it was a good plan. So I don't think it was like this plan that I was like, oh, this is crazy. But in my mind, I was like, it's the day before the race. What are we doing?
It's basically what I do on my long weekend sessions.
Yes. And
in training.
There's a lot of things that happen in that mind of yours that I have no idea about. Like literally, how many times have I said to you, like, I know you think you're answering me, but you're answering me in your head. And you're like, oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So So then so I don't know how calculated this was or whatever, but yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to let him feel it out, find his decision. Cause I think my thing was like, okay, well then that sounds like it's a good plan then. And so it did actually sound like a good plan, but I wouldn't have done it.
No.
But it's good, partners out there. Just let your partner have the experience.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's not like I know the answer.
It's not like it's
not my race.
It's like I didn't take in any fuel. It's
Right.
just, I just shifted. When I'm pretty confident, I'm really confident in what I do for racing, and then what I do for training being slightly different, and that's okay. Like, I'm confident in my system to know that on race day, I know what works. So,
and it's so easy to look back and say, like, well, if I stuck to that plan,
but
you're telling me about wind, like, you know how many calories you're burning and how, like, your system going down that descent in the wind, like, how much that's taxing your nervous system. Like, all of that is going to affect your performance and whatever that looks like. It could have looked like the wind that day, not the wind, but the whim, or it could have looked like whatever. It could have been a complete blow up. Like, it wasn't. It was what it was. So you take away the pieces, you take away the lessons, and you move forward with them. And you don't lock it in and being like, this is the thing that's going to get, because you never know.
It's not the thing, right? That's what the mind does. It's like, well, because you weren't in arrow position or because you didn't use it. That's the mind seeking like one little thing that is the root cause of all your pain. And that is not true.
Because it's always seeking certainty.
Always.
And even like, and within that certainty is relief. And that's what the mind is trying to do. That's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to find relief. But the relief that we're looking for is from the mind itself.
Right. Freedom from the mind.
Yeah.
Freedom from thought.
I don't think it was a bad thing.
No, I
think
it was
either. Just the thing you did, and that's that. And I know you really well. And I was like, I could just see, like, I don't know. I know you really well. I could see through those words. And I was like, this is an interesting dialogue we're having. Just like, tell me what's going on. Because she likes to know. She's awesome. And we had a 6.5 hour layover in the Seattle airport. And I don't even know. I think at that point we had already been up for 24 hours. When you leave Reykjavik at 10:45 a.m. and you arrive in Seattle at 11 a.m., it's very confusing. And then your flight's at 5 o'clock. It's very confusing.
I want to mark this because you just sparked something in my mind. I do not think I'm going to do an overnight flight next time for Placid.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
I think disrupting routine, and I did that twice. I've done it before, but I think like doing a day trip, staying somewhere, overnight, getting some good rest, and then heading out first thing in the morning for that 5-6 hour drive, I think is the way to go.
Well, I mean, if you had all the accoutrements that I have for flights, I mean, I am just stacking up my accoutrements for sleep on my flights.
Yeah, I don't want a lot of stuff. You've got a lot of stuff.
I've got my newest thing, which is like my foot sling.
All right.
It's the best.
Back to the retreat.
Okay. Swinging back to Iceland.
Iceland. Because we see this when we hold camp and we do retreats ourselves and big immersions, those transformations that happen with the participants. Like I see it in Costa Rica all the time because I'm a participant there. I haven't been a teacher. And you see like they show up and they're just like, maybe a little bit reserved. And then 5-10 days later, they're just like dancing and talking and a totally open and unreserved person. So did you see some of that or and when you do, does that like give you a sense of like you helped in that environment create the stew for those shifts?
First and foremost, my job on these trips is to be the social glue. That's what the travel yogi calls it. You're the social glue, right? And as any leader, that wasn't like, I've just never heard that term before, and I love that term. But anytime you lead a group, you got to be the one that brings it together, right? And while still spending quality time with each person, right? So what happens on these trips is people come together really quick, like because you are all of a sudden you come together as this organism. You like, we're just going to move together for 8 days. And I love the moments in the airport because I'm me, right? And I'm like, when I'm leading a trip, like I'm living my dream, like I'm living the dream. I'm exploring and adventuring and seeing the world alongside other people. That is the dream for me. Not just like I get to travel. That's not the dream. The dream is I get to create space. I get to take risk, to create space, to offer an experience for people that is truly like puts a stamp like on your life as like a highlight, like every trip is like top 5 experiences. I mean, they're just amazing. So I love the moments in the airport. And the first person I met was Trisha, who I had already met because she had been on retreat with us before here in Carlsbad. And we were on the same flight. I didn't even realize it. So in Reykjavik, like sometimes you like don't land at the airport. You like land like just, I don't know, kind of like in the parking lot. Like not really a parking lot, but like just out in this big area. And then a bus comes up and you get on the bus. I get on the bus and she's there and it's like, oh, this is one of my favorite things. I'm so glad you ask that, is like when you start collecting the people, you start collecting the group. I love this. So she was on my flight. So that was a great reunion. And then we're in the bathroom. So the first thing's like bathroom coffee. We need coffee. We got to get bathroom coffee. So we're in bathroom, whatever. And the bathrooms are really cool. Like you like go in and they're floor to ceiling doors and you go in. Excuse you, Clark. He's like coughing in the microphone.
Something to say?
The whole family's here. He's like, I'd like to say something about my mom leaving and collecting people when she has me at home.
Yeah.
And then, so these bathrooms are so cool. And like you go in and it's like you have your own room. There's like a sink and everything. So anyway, I come out of the stall and then there's the other Trisha from Colorado. I'm like, oh my God. So then big hugs there. And she is a member of the team here in Yogi Triathlete, and she's one of my most frequent travelers. She's been to Patagonia, she's been to Galapagos, and now Iceland with me. And then the three of us were moving together, and they're like clicking immediately to amazing women. And then you go to where like the pickup is, and then you see the guy, Frazi was his name, Frazi. He was so funny. We were like, we really hoped he was our guide for the week. But of course, at that point, we didn't know Inga, who is just, a sister. So we find Frazi and he's like, okay, he's really funny. He has the whole list. He's like, he's calling everybody from their last names. He's like, so-and-so is over there. We're waiting for towns and okay, you guys are here. And then we're just collecting people as the flights are coming in. So the three of us go over and we meet Sue, who's there. And then Mandy came in, and then I think it was, and then another girl, Heather, came in. So we're coming from Colorado, Canada, Baltimore, California, Las Vegas, and now we're all in the car together, right? And so I'm sitting up front with the driver, and everyone's kind of quiet at that point, right? Because they haven't met each other yet. But we have this great driver, Frazi, who's funny and a little inappropriate in a good way, cutting jokes and just telling us about Iceland, right? Like the tour has already started, telling us they first got their first 2 Starbucks and nobody's happy about it. So we were told not to go there. And telling us about the land and when he grew up here. And just that alone begins to connect the group. Because now we all have a mutual acquaintance, right? And then we get to the airport, and then there's a couple people that are already there that flew in early, very smart, because it's a 7-hour time difference from the West Coast. That's a big time difference. And then my brother arrives, who's a blast, and he is the social glue just by his own dharma.
Yeah.
And he already knows like Trisha from Colorado and stuff. And then and then we go on a food tour. So we've all been up. Nobody slept, right? We're like, just saying, okay, you guys, we got to stay up. We got to stay up. So now you've got that common goal. We all have to stay awake. And we go on a food tour. And the second place we go, we do a shot of this 40% alcohol liquor, this shot, and fermented shark. You were like, reason number 78 why BJ will never go to Iceland. That became a theme of the trip. We're like, reason number 42 why BJ will never go to Iceland. So it's this fermented shark. Oh my God. I swear to God, like I felt like I smelled like fermented shark for like 3 days. So yeah, so that you're just doing things like not everybody took the shot of alcohol. Like you don't have to. This isn't about coming and partying or anything like that. But now you're doing things like you're eating fermented shark, and that brings the group closer together, right? And you're moving as this organism. Now people are punchy. Now like some people are having beers, some people are having wine. You have no idea what time it is. You've been up forever, but you're having fun. And the group is now moving together. Everybody's there. So then we have our first yoga class. And then I get to experience all my swirly energy of like, am I good enough? Is this going to be okay? I want everybody to be happy. I want everyone to feel taken care of. I want everyone to like the class. And then I just shake all that off and go and do my thing. And then that brings us together, right? Doing yoga together. And
yoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it means
Union.
to yoke, to bring together, right? And you're beyond tired at this point.
And the sun
never sets.
Yeah. Okay.
So that messes with you. Because you're like, oh, I'm going to go to my room. I'll be back down. Maybe we'll sit out and watch the view and have a glass of wine. And we're like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock at night. I have to go to bed. It's like so confusing. But yeah, so there's the way, just by nature of the trip. Now, whether that's Iceland, Costa Rica, Galapagos, Patagonia, whatever it is, just by nature of the trip, the group comes together quick. Then, like by day 2, you're getting pretty familiar. By day 3, your family, like people are sharing stories. I've never seen I shouldn't say never. I often see, how about that? I often see people laughing until they're actually crying. Of course, my brother has a lot to do with that, with his stories. And yeah, it was just by nature of the experience. People who come on these trips are open to an experience. They're open to connecting with other people. And we all have this like-minded anchor. We want adventure, and we want to do it in a way where we're moving, right, on our mat. The yoga allows us to metabolize everything that we're experiencing, because you're on the move with adventure travel. And even on retreat, like in Costa Rica next May with you, we are going to be doing a lot, and we're going to be doing a lot of mindset and moving and things like that. And we're going to have a lot of downtime, and yoga on the mat allows you to absorb all of that, right? So whether it's a full itinerary or a lot of space, the yoga then adds this additional piece that just brings people together. So, by day 3, we're family. By day 4, there's, people have they're nicknaming people. The person who's the person who's always making the group late, which sometimes is me. And, all that stuff. I don't know. It just comes together by nature. It's really beautiful. Oh my God. We already at like 50.
Yeah. I just want to
minutes.
plug in the computer.
That's amazing. We're just riffing on this. All right. This is very much like, you're like, I want this to be conversational. We got the dogs crawling on us. Clark's coughing into the microphone.
Yes.
Hooking the thing. So yeah, it's just, I guess what I'm saying is like, I love to be alone. I really do. I love to be alone. But there's something about these trips. Like we had some pretty cool, like I would say maybe introverts as well. I don't think that's a bad word to use. I don't think so. People who are a little bit more quieter, right? And man, I saw them laughing, and yeah, and then the transformation, right? So the friendships, but also the fear that was moved through.
She's eating the plant.
Hey, Andi,
come here, Andi.
Andi, come. Andi, come. Oh my God, if your mom watches this, Andi Jean, we had a day where they were riding Icelandic horses, and there was some fear that needed to be moved through. And so I was not that I was grateful for the fear, but I was so grateful for the people who came forthcoming to me and said, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
And
that's why we're here.
It's just like, that's what I said, like in my debrief with the travel yogi. I was like, I was so selfishly grateful that like they gave me an opportunity to really like work with things. And what were we? We were doing something. And I remember like standing up on the bus, and I was just like, all right, if anyone's feeling fearful about this, like, let me know. There's nothing I love better than to overcome, like get to the other side of fear, let's walk right up to it together. Yeah. So there was, one time where I just sat next to one of the women on the bus on the way to something that there was some energy around. And I just sat next to her. I said, do you mind if I just sit here and I'll do some breathing and you can join me? You don't have to join me, but is it okay if I just create some space here for you. And she's, yeah. And that's amazing. So there's like these beautiful, tender moments. And then there's like the fermented shark moment. And then, yeah, like it's everyone connects over like their sleep and they're sharing food. And I mean, voucher wine. Like it felt like the first couple of days, wherever we went, we got a voucher for wine. So we'd all like, we're like moving through these geothermal pools, like up to the bar, like we get our voucher wine, you know? So yeah, it's really special. And the transformation is inevitable.
The thing you always talk about too about those retreats is the unscripted moments. So you have the plan and the schedule and the day-to-day itinerary, but then there's the moments of like the laughter and the the moments on the bus. Like you can't script those. You have to experience them.
Like the moment that I put mayonnaise on my pancakes because there was a sign behind it that said cashew spread, and I was like, "This is a cashew," and I couldn't find the syrup. Nobody could find the syrup, and the syrup was right next to the pancakes. So anyway, I'll keep going with this. So I'm like, it kind of looks like mayonnaise, but maybe they really whip up the cashew cream here in Iceland. Who am I to know, right? And why would there be mayonnaise at the breakfast bar? So I put the mayonnaise on my pancakes, not knowing it's mayonnaise, and some strawberries and a little bit of this like fruit compote thing. And I go back down and I'm sitting with Inga and we're kind of having a little bit of like all right, let's talk about, we gotta make some shifts and let's talk about, so it's kind of like this, it's not a serious conversation, but it's like a trip leader's conversation. Yeah. And one of the other guests was sitting with us while we're having the conversation. I took a bite into my pancakes and I was just like, oh my God, I think this mayonnaise on my pancakes was like so disgusting. But that became like a joke, right? Like throughout the whole trip. And those are the things. And there was other moments. Like I remember we were at dinner one night and somebody was like, yes, this is the stuff that's not on the itinerary. The stuff that's on the itinerary is amazing. It's everything that's not out of the itinerary that makes it the top five. In between. The top five experience. Yeah. So.
And you can't anticipate those things. They just are created in the moment.
You just bring a bunch of amazing people together and amazing stuff's going to happen. And and within an epic, incredible itinerary.
In a beautiful location. Always beautiful locations.
Yeah, I will say there was this one moment. Well, maybe you'll ask me this question. I'll get back to it.
Just go.
Well, there was this one moment where, okay, so Inga had this microphone and she would tell us stories. And if for whatever reason she has this voice, like I was trying so hard to stay up to listen to the stories and sometimes I would fall asleep. And apparently then I would ask questions about the stories that she was like, I always know when Jess is asleep because then she always asks the questions about the things we talked about on the bus. But anyway, and then sometimes she would say, I'm going to stop talking now and I'm just going to put on some music. And by the way, Iceland is obsessed with 90s American pop. It's crazy. Britney Spears, like the whole, like No Doubt.
No, Bjork? Isn't Bjork from?
Frozzy put on a little Sigur Rós because he was like, let's just be a little cliche here. But yeah, we saw where Bjork, did we see where Bjork grew up? I think so. But she was going to do like a little local like concert or something in
cool.
Reykjavik or something that maybe I fell asleep during this story. But anyway, there was this one time where she was like, I'm going to stop talking. Of course, she knew what was coming. We knew we were on the way to Kirkjufell, which is this insane arrowhead mountain, and there's a waterfall. It's like so crazy. There's a reel on my Instagram grid, and it opens with Kirkjufell. And so anyway, we're along the coast, so much ocean, so much coastline. We're on the coast. We're on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. And we're driving on one of those gorgeous roads and there's waterfalls. And this is the day that like the sun is starting to break and the wind is insane and the door is tied shut. And Inga's like, I'm going to put on some music. I'm going to stop talking. And she put on this like cinematic, like music that you would hear like in a movie, right? Mm-hmm. And the sun is shining and we're driving along the coast and we're seeing views and everyone's like, oh my God, there's waterfalls and everything. And we kind of go around this bend and the music is like this, as you can imagine, that cinematic music, which is trailer music, which is so emotional. And we turn this corner and there's Kirkjufell, like just this insane, bright, green arrowhead mountain in front of us. And it was just this moment of like, I'm pretty sure I cried. it was like just this moment of like, oh my God, like, oh, it just started with 3 letters. Like it just started with yes. Yes, I'm going to do Iceland. And those I'll never forget that moment. It was like, that was one of the best moments of my life. That kind of nature was just, nobody could speak. And there was definitely tears. Nobody could speak. It was so unbelievable. And then of course we got out of the car and it was like 65-mile-an-hour winds. We were like, it was so crazy. And it was beautiful and the sky opened and it was sunny and we got some great shots. And then we got back in the bus and then the clouds came and the rain came. It was very contrasting. Yeah, that was a very, very moving moment.
And it all starts with, like you said, yes. Like
it just starts with yes.
You don't have to know all the details, but
don't.
That's why we say have the experience. Be willing to have the experience, right? We always think of like, oh, it's gonna be cold, be miserable, we're gonna be, but you miss all the things that you just described that were like unscripted. Like you can't even predict
that
those
moment.
things.
I have chills thinking about that moment. Okay. I think we'd be, I love the contrast of this conversation. So we're going to go from the cinematic movie trailer moment to how do you recover from an Ironman and do a half Ironman the following Sunday? Tell us about what your recovery was. What happened once you crossed the finish line in Lake Placid?
I immediately got in some pickle juice because I was feeling very dizzy.
Oh, okay.
Very dizzy. Very upset tummy. And they don't have they have chicken broth, but I didn't want chicken broth. But the med tent had pickle juice. So I got a whole cup of pickle juice, slammed that whole thing down.
Yum.
It was so good.
So good.
Then I tried some fries. That didn't feel so good. But they have a new acai place in Placid. And Claire and Colin went down on Saturday and got me an acai bowl, put it in their freezer in their hotel room, the Crown Plaza, the place right up on the hill, the big hill in Placid.
What are you going to do with people like this? They're just so amazing.
So amazing. So when I finished, Colin went up to the place, got me the acai bowl and brought it back.
Oh my God. I didn't know this acai story.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I know.
Thank you, Colin.
Colin and Claire. I mean, amazing.
I mean, I feel like we could say that about the whole dang team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think anybody would have done it on the team because they understand how much I love acai bowls and that what you put in you is so important. So important. So I did not have a chance to go back home, or did I? No, I did not have a chance to go back home to where I was staying in Saranac. So I stayed there at the end of the race until midnight for the finishers. But I had packed some food, some tofu and all that sort of stuff. So I had food. So that's really important. And then, what's even more important is the next day, Monday, getting in the water, getting back in the lake, swimming. So I swam for about 15 minutes. No wetsuit. It was still 73 degrees, but it felt kind of crisp and cool, but that's so good for the body. Lots of hydration, lots of electrolytes, watermelon, getting off the carbs is what I did. Like I started to go back into the broccoli, the tofu, salad kind of mixture. Lots of juices. The ride home on Tuesday, I bought 3 juices and slammed 3 juices down, like a carrot juice, a ginger turmeric juice.
Look at you investing in the juice. Yeah. I love it.
It was like $15 for 3 juices.
Is that little market still there? Remember we interviewed that woman? She was one of our first.
Green Goddess.
Oh yeah, is that?
It's there, but I didn't go there. Yeah.
She had done all the highest Adirondack peaks barefoot.
She doesn't own it anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's still there. I didn't go there. This was like on the road. And then, I got to my dad's. And then that was Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. I got snuck in a hot yoga class with Valerie on Wednesday at Newport Power Yoga, which just to sweat out for an hour. Like I was in down dog and I just felt like, you could see the sweat just dripping off.
Valerie's my
good.
Bestie.
Yeah.
And I've co-hosted many retreats with her.
I did not run. I did not bike. And after that swim on Monday, I did not swim. My goal was to just nurture the body through rest and food and hydration in order to allow for Sunday to be my best because I trust the process. I don't need to do any more. I didn't feel I needed to do any more physical activity. Plus, I wanted to be with my dad. And we did 2 walks a day. So 2,000 to 3,000 steps every time. And that to me, spending that quality time and being with him was good. Yeah. And then Friday, drove up to Maine, still hydrating,
How did you feel at that point?
Thursday was the day I started to feel a shift.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need 2 more days. I was like, oh, fantastic. Friday and Saturday. 2 more days. I was already walking though on Monday. I wasn't debilitated from moving around and bending over. So I was pretty happy with that. I think that's a combination of fitness, fueling. I also think the carbon shoes help a ton. I don't feel like it really like taxes your legs as much. And then, really set myself up for another round of carb loading starting Friday into the race on Sunday in Maine.
Tell us a little bit about, well, first of all,
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10. How did you do on your recovery that week?
I think I did a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10. All right.
Yeah. I would have loved to swim more and go to yoga more, but that wasn't in the cards.
Yeah. I'm sure your dad
Yeah, it was good
loved
to hang.
having you. And I
And
know
see my
brother
siblings.
came down
And I saw your brother.
to see you too.
Always fun.
I know. He's like, I love that guy, Chuck. Love that guy. It's like, I want to go down to one of their family pool parties. Tell us about Augusta. You seem to love the race.
So
why do you love the race?
So let's backtrack and say I said I was never going to do Maine, or not never, but I wasn't drawn to Maine because of a downriver swim, which I'm a solid swimmer. I'm a solid triathlete, swim, bike, and run. So I want to use that to my full advantage. So I was like, yeah, downriver swim. I'm so glad I had this experience. When I signed up for it, it was like, at the very least, I'm going to get an experience in Maine because I've never raced this course before. It is awesome. It is one of the best courses out there, I believe. And it's so convenient. There's so much good about this race. Like 2.5 hours from Boston, easy traffic. You don't have to stay in town. You can stay 15, 20 minutes out and have no traffic getting in to town for all the activities, the village, race morning, the yoga on Saturday.
How many
before
people
the race.
did you have at yoga?
Over 65 people.
So cool.
For yoga. Oh my God, it was like 5 minutes before and it was like 2 or 3 people. And then all of a sudden, all these people came.
Boom.
It was so cool.
That's so cool.
And the people I met afterwards.
They are ready for it.
And it's just not yoga. It's
mindset.
It's mindset.
Did you do the interval training?
I did at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you do 3 minutes?
I did 30 on, 30 off 6 times. So 3 minutes.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. That's good.
And also with the sun coming down, you don't want them to lay in
That's one of our
Shavasana
favorite mind training techniques, interval training.
So bookend the yoga with breath work, pre-race pranayama, which you can use when you're standing in line for the swim.
Yep.
Bookend it with an interval training, which allows you to purposefully and intentionally shift your focus away from what the mind wants to think about to what you want it to be placed onto. And then in the middle, we get some flow and movement in the body so that you get some mobility and matching movement with breath. All of that is directly related to endurance sports because I'm an endurance athlete. So I can tie the yoga, the breath work, the interval training, everything into what you will experience on race day at Maine. And so people came up afterwards. They were really,
that's amazing.
Curious about all of it in our story, actually, because I shared a little bit of that. So yeah, it really easy. I mean, easy to get into course, logistics, so easy. You park across the street. There's tons of parking.
What's the bike course like?
Bike course is rolling. I think it's like 2,500, 2,800 feet of elevation. No really steep hills, but it's very undulating, very up and down. A lot like Massachusetts. Okay,
that makes
Open
sense.
roads.
Road conditions?
Great. And the roads that were a little, like there's a little out and back, which was a little bit of a choppy section of road. They had it all spray painted of where the stuff was.
Awesome. Run course?
Run course is really cool because it's basically from the village, you go south and you go up this hill. You run through town, you go up the hill on this trail, like an actual rail trail. You do a turnaround and you come back. Then you run back through town and then you go on the trail that you walked on for the swim. In the opposite direction, you go where you went for the swim start, and then you go over this bridge, and then at mile 10, at that point, you go up this major hill.
Nice.
Which doesn't stop. You go up the hill for about 4 minutes, and then you turn right, and you go up the hill, and then it dips a little bit. Then you go back up the hill for another 8 to 10 minutes, and you're like, is this thing ever going to end? And you go through this little turnaround in a parking lot. I'm glad it's not a turn like a hairpin turn. It's actually like you go around the parking lot and then you start bombing down all the way back to the finish, only until you get to the final half mile as you start to get back towards transition, there's that hill that you had to run up from the swim.
Oh, yeah.
Which
That
was
looks-
pretty steep. And so lots of crowd support, great aid stations, beautiful like scenery. A lot of it, I'd say 50-60% is covered with trees, and the other part is wide open. But yeah, finish line is cool. Yeah, great race. I would totally do this race again. I don't think there's anything negative. I really like to swim.
Yeah.
I was like the 12th person in, I think, into the water. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Cool.
was just about wetsuit legal. Just about wetsuit legal. 73 or 74 degrees.
Cool. And
Yeah.
we'll both be at Santa Cruz for yoga, teaching yoga.
September 13th,
Yeah.
right?
So September 12th is the yoga class.
September 12th is yoga.
Mhm.
Yep.
And let's blow it out, guys. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Bring your friends, bring your family.
Bring your friends. Let's
anybody who's listening to this. Oh, but I'm not racing. Come.
Yeah, come anyway.
Come.
We really want to have this. I want to bring all of this together. Like,
This is so cool.
it's very directly relational to what you will experience out on the race course. And for those not racing, it is going to help in everyday life circumstances. The challenges that you face at work, on the commute, with your family, friends, like loved ones, like this is the stuff that we create a yoga triathlete for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you'll also be in Tri-Cities
I'll be teaching yoga at Tri-Cities on Saturday.
and doing the swim relay.
Doing a swim relay as part of Cuisine Solutions team.
Yep.
And
And I'll be leading a retreat here in
my God.
Carlsbad.
it's pretty. I told the woman at Trader Joe's today, because I was talking to our friends there, and she was like, "Wait a minute,
Your friends. Trader Joe's?
Stefan and
Oh,
Jules?
yes, our friends.
Yeah.
Yes, you actually ran into our friend. Because
Yeah.
I know you love the people that work at Trader
love-
Joe's. So I didn't know if that was like a new friend group.
No.
Okay.
So I talked to our friends, and they left, and then she was like, "So wait a minute, your wife is in
Also,
Iceland."
previous podcast guests.
Yes.
Stefan and Jules. So go ahead. Sorry.
She said, "So your wife was in Iceland, and you were in Lake Placid, New York. Like, wow, you guys are the power couple." And I was like, "Yeah, like we split time and we conquer and divide and conquer and do what we love and live what we do, live it to teach it out there." And we had to divide and conquer this trip. But yes, in Santa Cruz we'll be back together.
Yeah, we'll be together. And
Yeah.
we had this moment when you dropped me off at the airport in San Diego. I was on my way to Iceland, and we just like looked at each other like we knew this day was coming, like where I'm going to Iceland, and not that it was Iceland, but like going to lead this international trip, and that you were going to go race, double Ironmans, teach yoga at Ironman, which always made sense to us. Just took 10 years, but it didn't take 10 years
No.
actually, because we've been doing it all
A lot.
along.
Yeah.
The first one I taught was in 2013, Ironman Lake Placid. I was a brand new teacher. I had no idea what I was doing. And I just had this like knowing, just do it, Jess. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to begin. And I called the Chamber of Commerce and ended up talking to Sue Cameron, who became a longtime friend still to this day. She worked at the Chamber of Commerce, and they let us use the Chamber of Commerce to
Record
podcasts and things. Yeah, it was awesome because it was air conditioned, and they would let Clark go in there. Remember, Clark would go into the.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys! Just if you have a hit on your heart, just follow it, because it led to so much. And I don't even know. I probably put it on Facebook or something back then. 2000. It was such a nervous wreck. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just knew I had to do it. I knew I had to do it. Right? There's courage. It's like I was scared, but I did it anyway. And I think we had like 8 people show up, and I was like, oh my God, there's 8 people.
I think there were more people than
And
that. but
I mean,
yeah.
I remember Santa Rosa in 2018.
Santa Rosa, we
It
brought
was
up the tarp.
pouring rain, and it had been pouring rain we had reached out to the race director, and he was like, sure. And people showed up, and we had tarps in our car because I just don't think we had I think were we still living? We weren't
No.
living on the road at that point, but for whatever, maybe we just didn't unpack them.
Yeah, I think they were up in the didn't we have a Thule?
No.
We didn't have a Thule box.
So anyway,
I don't know why they were there.
We put a tarp out in this park in Santa Rosa, and everyone did yoga on the tarp. You reached out to the race director at Ironman Arizona.
But also Wisconsin. You remember Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin. Did anybody show up for that? Like
Yes. Yeah. I had like a bunch of people for that.
Yeah.
And I was racing that. It was the first one
it's
I'd done by myself.
Like BJ had talked a little bit about the timeline, right? Like we're just like, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And we just kept showing up and doing what we could do and being really vulnerable. Like it's vulnerable to stand there and like offer a yoga class that honestly back in 2013, not a lot of people wanted, and to do it anyway because it felt purposeful. And it's why Yogi Triathlete exists, like yoga and triathlon, and really has grown into endurance sports since I got kind of the ultra running bug. And now we're coaching people who are doing all kinds of things, high rocks and ultras and triathlon. And yeah, it's just like, we just kept doing it and swallowed those vulnerable moments or moments where the ego felt embarrassed, or you see like the big tri groups going by with like 30 people on their shakeout run, like running through the yoga area, like not even noticing that we're there. And you just keep showing up. And why? We keep showing up because we knew that there would be a time where the tables would turn and people would be wanting this, and they would realize the value of a well-trained mind and the indescribable virtue of peace of mind and calm and focus. And we're ready for it, and we're here for it. And it's never, ever will not be an honor to share it. So it's pretty cool. So we hope we see you guys in Santa Cruz.
I think I'll speak to my perspective on that is like the belief that what we're doing is, I believe in what we do so firmly. And as we go deeper and deeper into this, we get a little bit more evidence. My belief grows stronger and stronger. But you have to have that belief first.
Yeah.
That what we're doing is exactly what we need to be doing. And then you get those little hits. Like in Maine, this older gentleman was there, and I saw him checking his son into transition. And he said, I was asking him, I was like, oh yeah, you did great in yoga. I saw you there. He's like, I used to do yoga a lot, but I haven't done it in so long. And for that, just to be reminded that you can move the body and you can reincorporate a practice that you liked doing back into your life. Like if I assisted in that just a little bit, that's enough. That's enough, because I believe so firmly in what we're doing for the mind and body that I want to scream it from the mountaintops to the world and say, here's the drug, here's the thing that will allow you to do an Ironman one day and a half Ironman 6 days later. Like the faith, the belief, the trust, the mobility, the fuel you put in your body, the environment that you build around yourself, like all of it. That's it, guys. That's it. And that's what we offer here at Yogi Triathlete. So through the podcast and, take it a step further in Endurance Squad, become a member and do a deep dive. I believe firmly in this thing.
Yeah. I
so
mean,
much.
what we've been able to narrow down in 10 years is endurance coaching, mindset, and adventure. And it all enhances your life. So
if someone is looking at adventure and they're like, oh my God, Iceland sounds really cool, but I wouldn't want to go to Iceland, but I want to go on an adventure with this person. Like, what do you think is like a message you want to send to them about?
First of all,
waiting, or
I'm your girl. Like, if you want to go on an adventure, I'm your girl. Like, if you want equal parts adventure and peace, like, I'm your girl. Like, I really feel confident when I say that. And I don't want to come off like egoic, or like that I'm like tooting my own horn. But like, I was born for this. You know, I was absolutely born for this. When I realized that yoga adventures existed, I mean, I always knew I'd do yoga retreats. And I mean, even like our retreat next year, like I was born for that, like swimming in the ocean, running on that beach, teaching yoga, mindset, everything. I'm so excited. So, okay, what was the question? They want to go on an adventure.
Yeah, what would you say to them to curb the hesitation or the delay? Or
yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I see that I confidently say is completely backwards is, it could be like a year out, 6 months out, 3 months out. People will say, well, I just have to see what my schedule looks like. And I think we have that wrong. I really feel confident about that. We got that back. Not that we have it wrong. We have it backwards. We have a right to adventure in this life. And if that's on your heart, I think you have a responsibility to adventure in this life and explore and be a curious human and do things that like are way out of the routine, and then build your life around it. So if I've got trips to 2028 right now. I've got whale camp with mommy and baby whales. They come to this bay in Mexico for a few weeks every year. And that's how far I had to book it out. So February 2028, like, and you can build your life around that. There are experiences in this life that are worth building your life around. And if we're only building our life around our schedule, our routine, we're never going to get out of that. So the first thing you need to do is people try and figure it all out at once. I'm not going to put my deposit down because I want to figure out the flights first. There's not great flights right now out of so-and-so airport. Again, backwards. Put the deposit down. The deposits are reasonable. $500 if it's a bigger trip, $750, whatever, between $500 and $750. Put the deposit. I always say, put the deposit down, dream away. Put the deposit down, lock it in. Now you're committed. It's just like a race. Sign up for the race, do the training. Sign up for the trip, do the training. And I'm here for it. And the thing is, it's not just me. There's a team of women that run the Travel Yogi that are always saying to me, like, please let your people know that they can talk to us. And I think sometimes it gets hesitant because they're like, oh, they're going to try and sell me. We're just going to try and help you get clear on what you want and help you find the things that are going to make you feel good about, how to get there. These guys know the routes, right? They'll say, if you're just like, I don't know how to even get there, reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with the team and they'll tell you, oh, out of BWI, take this route. Out of Miami, take this route. Out of SFO, go this route. They know the routes to get there and the ease and what trips require an overnight and what trips don't. And so, yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, feel the hit, find the trip, put the deposit down. That's it. And then create your life around that and work with your mindset because there'll be a million reasons not to follow through on it. And that's what we're here for. So I'm not just a trip leader on 8 days. I'm the trip leader all the time. So you can always message me without feeling any pressure that I'm going to try and make you do something. That is the version of an old me that doesn't exist anymore, but I'll help you. I'll help you find that clarity and I can put you in touch with the team. If you don't want to talk to me, that's totally fine. You can talk to one of the team members. They're amazing. The woman who owns this business is amazing. I think we need to talk about her more. This is a women-owned business and she's got her roots in adventure travel and she happens to have a yoga practice. She's not a yoga teacher. So yeah, that's what I would say is like, feel it in your heart, find the trip, put the deposit down. Let's do it. Let's
Have an adventure.
I'm your girl.
So good. Cool.
All right. I think we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Like anything that you want to take into your next chapter of racing and qualification?
Yeah, I'm getting clear on that. I'm finding some clarity onto what's next for me personally, which route to take and what feels really good. Haven't figured that out yet. But I do want to say, like, all transparency, like leaving here, I had fears and doubts myself of flying with my bike out of a small airport and being away from you for 2 weeks and leaving Clark alone in our place, at least for a few hours until the pet care came.
Feeling a little tender, huh?
So I had a few days of of feeling all that. And then to go on these trips and then to stay in Airbnbs for 2 weeks by myself. Like I had a lot of alone time, which I loved being alone, but it was also nice to dip my toes in the community, teaching yoga and going down to the village and all of that. But I want to say, like, it's important to acknowledge that you have these fears and doubts, but also that you're capable of working with them so that you can get to the other side of them and the unknown then becomes known. So a lot of times we're just pumping the brakes and we're not going to take the yoga adventure because we can't do it right now. It's too much. Or I'm not going to go to this race because, I don't know how to get from here to there. And I don't know, what my training is going to look like. Just have the experience, guys. When you move forward in spite of the fear and doubt, you're going to get on the other side of it with a lot more information and honestly, a lot more confidence in how you manage those uncertainties until they become more certain. So yes, I didn't get the 2 qualifications I wanted, but I walked away with so much more clarity and insight into how I navigate challenge, how I navigate fear, how I navigate going into the unknown again and again and again. And to me, that's why we walk this path, to learn and grow and get to know ourselves and see who we are outside of the routine that we practice every single day into an environment which we're not so familiar with until we become familiar with it. So keep going, guys. You feel that hit, pull the trigger, sign up for the race, sign up for the adventure, come to Costa Rica with us next May. Like, put yourself, and if you want to learn this stuff quickly, like fast track yourself,
come to Costa Rica.
Come to this Costa Rica retreat. Really, it's going to be a big immersion into, yes, yoga, mindset, swimming, running, all of those things. But again, the conversations on the side that you're going to have with the like-minded athletes that are there and with both of us, the little conversations, they're so valuable in moving that needle forward to where you want to go, but may have been stuck in a certain point for so long, not knowing or willing to get to where you want to go.
I'm really excited about the final night. We rented this catamaran, which we did this year.
The turtle.
We're going to go sail off into international waters, and we're going to jump off this. We're going to jump off this catamaran into the depths of the ocean, and like they'll give floaties and stuff if we want them. And it's just a really fun. We've found the last couple times we've been in Costa Rica, the 2 times before that, we went into the Bodhi tree. They had some live music, and we were dancing, and we kind of found this like final night, kind of shake it off, let loose a little bit, have a cocktail, don't have a cocktail, like whatever, like just come, dance, shake it off, don't dance, whatever. That has been kind of a really meaningful, really fun, like final, like seal it up.
Yeah, you form those relationships and then you like seal the deal on that final.
Yeah, it's so fun. And these guys from Sky and San Nosara are awesome. The guy's from Italy, and he was just like done with it, like done with his job, done with everything, moved to Costa Rica, like bought this boat, and this is what he does now. We're going to go back and see him next year. I can't remember what he looks exactly like Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what his name was.
I don't remember. All right. Any final thoughts on your end? We got to wrap this up.
No, it's just like we're here, and if you're on the fence about Costa Rica or an adventure or endurance squad, just follow it. Something I when I first started teaching yoga, and it's like I wanted to teach all these classes, but then I was like scared, and then like you get settled into the routine, like this is my 7 a.m. And I remember like there was times where it was like, oh my God, they want me to teach the 5 p.m. now on Friday, like, oh, but my Friday afternoons are this. And I remember you being like, well, just take it, and then if you don't like it, you don't have to teach it anymore.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Yes. And it's not like
and maybe the greatest hesitation is that because everybody who has been like, I've been listening to the podcast for 7 years, and then they come, they're just like, my God, I'm never leaving. Like I could never coach with anybody else again, because like the mindset and the community and just the acceptance, like as you are, is so beautiful. And this community has really built that and blossomed it. And we're just holding the space, guys. So thank you to everyone who's been a part of this community, whether you're just a listener, whether you're on the team, have come on a trip, coming on a trip, whatever it is, thank you. Because it does allow us to show up in a way that few will really ever learn in this life. And it's very, very special. And it doesn't make any of us better than. It actually just increases our capacity to be really authentically who we are. And that is an effortless life.